Hello students, today the topic of my lecture is Problems of Aged in India. India is growing old. The blunt reality of the aging scenario in India is that according to the census of India 2011, there are 77 million older persons in India today. With life expectancy having increased from 40 years in 1951 to 64 years today, a person today has 20 years more to live than he would have 50 years back. However, this is not without problems. With this kind of aging scenario, there is pressure on all aspects of care for the older persons, be it financial, health, or shelter. As the 21st century arrives, the growing security of older persons in India is very visible. With older people living longer, the households are getting smaller and congested, causing stress in joint and extended families. Even where their co-residing marginalization, isolation and insecurity is felt among the older persons due to the generation gap and change in lifestyles. Increase in lifespans also results in chronic functional disabilities, creating a need for assistance required by the older person to manage chores as simple as activities of daily living. With the traditional system of the lady of the house looking after the older family members at home is slowly getting changed as the women at the home are also participating in activities outside home and have their own career ambitions. There is growing realization among older persons that they are more often than not being perceived by their children as a burden. Old age has never been a problem for India, where a value-based joint family system is supposed to prevail. Indian culture is automatically respectful and supportive of elders. Definitions. Aging is both a biological and sociological process wherein human beings experience and accomplish stages of biological and social maturation. Aging may be seen as a relatively objective biological process whereby one becomes older and experiences varied biological developments. Aging may also be seen as a subjective series of social processes whereby people interpret, negotiate and make sense of biological development in relation to the existing conceptualizations of what it means to be a certain age. The aging process is of course a biological reality which has its own dynamic, largely beyond human control. However, it is also subject to the constructions by which each society makes sense of the old age. In the developed world, chronological time plays a paramount role. The age of 60 or 65, roughly equivalent to the retirement ages in most developed countries, is said to be the beginning of the old age. In many parts of the developing world, chronological time has little or no importance in the meaning of old age. Problems of the elderly. Though aging is the natural stage of human life, it brings with it innumerable problems for the persons who have grown old. The elders live in constant worry related to three matters, viz. Diseases, poverty and loneliness. There is no escape from the first problem because it is the result of natural process of aging. The second problem is either due to poverty or poor financial management during earning time that has resulted in the absence of saved funds or income yielding investment in the sunset years, and the third problem is either due to the loss of spouse or NRI children or deliberate abandonment by the children. A detailed analysis of the major problems of the aged in the light of the findings from various studies is explained below. Economic problems. As far as economic problems are concerned, they are very basic to all other problems faced by the aged. With the superannuation, a person has to retire from the service, which not only results in the loss of employment and social status, but also a substantial reduction in his income level. Majority of the elderly face acute financial problems, which makes older persons economically insecure. Physiological problems. With growing age, older persons experience various anatomical and physiological changes. These changes bring many psychological, behavioral, and attitudinal changes in them. Consequently, they have to suffer varied sorts of physiological problems, such as loss of physical strength and stamina, which become more acute as a person grows older. Health problems. It has been said that we start dying the day we are born. The aging process is synonymous with failing health. While death in young people in countries such as India is mainly due to infectious diseases, older people are mostly vulnerable to non-communicable diseases. Failing health due to advancing age is complicated by non-availability to good food, age-sensitive health care for a larger proportion of older persons in the country. Housing related problems. Housing for the aged should be suitable not only to the living pattern which they have established in the optimum health, but also to conditions of failing health and illness. On this pattern, the housing available to a majority of senior citizens may be found inappropriate and unsuitable to their requirement. Problem of elder abuse. Elder abuse is usually defined as any ill treatment to an older person. It refers to infliction of physical, emotional, psychological harm on an older adult. According to Help Age India's recent report, around 81% of the elderly persons face problems of verbal abuse, while 53% of them face neglect followed by material abuse, 37%, and physical abuse, 23%. Economic insecurity. The problem of economic insecurity is faced by the elderly when they are unable to sustain themselves financially. Increasing competition from the younger people, individual, family, and societal mindsets, chronic malnutrition, and slowing physical and mental faculties, limited access to resources, and lack of awareness of their rights and entitlements play significant roles in reducing the ability of elderly to remain financially productive and independent. Isolation. Isolation, or a deep sense of loneliness, is a common complaint of many elderly, while there are few who impose it on themselves. Isolation is most often imposed purposefully or inadvertently by the families and or communities where the elderly live. Neglect. The elderly, especially those who are weak and or dependent, require physical, mental and emotional care and support. When this is not provided, they suffer from neglect, a problem that occurs when a person is left uncared for and is often linked with isolation. Changing lifestyles and values, demanding jobs, distractions such as television, a shift to nuclear family structure and redefined priorities have led to increased neglect of the elderly by the families and the communities. This is worsened as the elderly are less likely to demand attention than those of other age groups. Fear. Many elderly people live in fear, whether rational or irrational. There is a relevant problem faced by the elderly that needs to be carefully and effectively addressed. Elderly who suffer from fear need to be reassured. Those for whom the fear is considered to be irrational need to be counseled and, if necessary, may be treated as per their needs. Boredom. Boredom is the result of being poorly motivated to be useful or productive and occurs when a person is unwilling or unable to do something meaningful with his or her time. The problem occurs due to forced inactivity, withdrawal from responsibilities, and lack of personal goals. A person who is not usefully occupied tends to physically and mentally decline, and this in turn has a negative emotional impact. Most people have reached the age of 60 years or have previously led productive lives and would have gained several skills during their lifetime. Lowered self-esteem. Lowered self-esteem among older persons has a complex ethology that includes isolation, neglect, reduced responsibilities, and decrease in value or worth by oneself, family, and or the society. Loss of control. This problem of older persons has many facets. While self-realization and the reality of situation is acceptable to some, there are others for whom life becomes insecure when they begin to lose control of their resources. Physical strength, body systems, finances, social or designated status, and decision-making powers. Lack of preparedness for old age. A large number of people enter old age with little or no awareness of what this entails. While demographically we acknowledge that a person is considered to be old when he attains the age of 60 years, there is no such clear indication available to the individual. For each person, there is a turning point after which he feels physiologically or functionally old. Unfortunately, in India, there is almost no formal awareness program, even at higher level institutions or organizations, for people to prepare for the old age. For the vast majority of people, old age sets in quietly but suddenly, and few are prepared to deal with these issues. Government efforts. Some laws are enacted to solve this problem. According to the mentality of people here, they do not bother to follow moral duties, but they have to follow legal duties because of the fear of punishment. The maintenance of parents is included in the section 125 of CRPC, the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956. But the procedures under these laws are time consuming and expensive. Under these acts, parents can claim maintenance from their children. Constitutional provisions. Article 41 of the Constitution provides that the state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provisions for securing the right to work, to education, and to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement, and in other cases of undeserved want. Article 47 provides that the state shall regard the raising of the level of the nutrition and standard of living of its people and the improvement of public health as its primary duties. Legislative provisions. The National Council for Older Persons (NCOP) was constituted in 1999 under the chairmanship of the Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment. The NCOP is the highest body to advise the government in the formulation and the implementation of policy and programs for the aged. The council was reconstituted in 2005. Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007 was enacted in December 2000 to ensure need-based maintenance for parents and senior citizens and their welfare. Initiatives by National Human Rights Commission (NHRC). The Ministry of Social Justice had constituted the National Council for Older Persons (NCOP) on January 11, 1999, in which a representative from National Human Rights Commission was inducted as a member. Policies, schemes, programs for the welfare of the elderly. First, National Policy on Older Persons. The national policy on older persons was announced by the government in January 1999, which envisages state support to ensure financial and food security, healthcare, shelter, and other needs of older persons to improve the quality of their lives. Second, Central Sector Scheme of Integrated Program for Older Persons IPOP. An integrated program for older persons IPOP is being implemented since 1992 with the objective of improving the quality of life of senior citizens by providing basic amenities like shelter, food, medical care and entertainment opportunities, and by encouraging productive and active aging through providing support for capacity building of government, non-governmental organizations, Panchayati Raj institutions, local bodies and the community at large. Third, National Program for Health Care for Elderly NPHCE. NPHCE was implemented by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare from the year 2010-2011 with an approved outlay of Rs 288 crore for remaining period of the 11th 5-year plan. The ministry also provides the following facilities for senior citizens: separate queues for older persons in government hospitals, senior citizen clinic in several government hospitals. Fourth, Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme IGNOAPS. Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme was implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development, under which central assistance is given towards pension Rs 200 per month to persons above 60 years and Rs 500 per month for senior citizens of 80 years and above belonging to a household below poverty line. Fifth, separate ticket counters. Separate ticket counters have been provided by the Ministry of Railways for senior citizens of age 60 years and above at various passenger reservation system centers if the average demand per shift is more than 120 tickets. The ministry also provides the following facility to senior citizens: 30% and 50% concession have been provided in rail fare for male and female senior citizen respectively of 60 years and above respectively. Income tax exemptions. Income tax exemptions is provided to the senior citizens by the Ministry of Finance. Seventh, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority IRDA. IRDA, which is working under the Ministry of Finance, has issued instructions on health insurance for senior citizens to CEOs of all general health insurance companies, like allowing entry into health insurance schemes till 65 years of age. Eighth, Pensions Portal. A pension portal has been set up by the Department of the Pensions, Government of India, to enable senior citizens to get information regarding the status of their application, the amount of their pension, documents required if any, etc. The portal also provides for lodging of grievances. Ninth, concessions in airlines. The national carrier Air India provides concession up to 50% for male and female senior citizen of 63 years and above in fares. Other governmental concessions and facilities. The Government of India provides various concessions and facilities to its senior citizens. The Union Cabinet's latest decision to approve a new law, Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007, aimed at serving the elderly live in self-respect and peace. Health. Many government and private hospitals provide concessions to the older persons in the treatment of the diseases like cardiac problems, diabetes, kidney problems, blood pressure, joint problems and eye problems. There is also a condition for separate queuing of reservations for hospital beds. Banking. The Indian government gives high rates of interest to its senior citizens on certain saving plans which are run by the post offices and other private banks. Housing. The Indian government provides housing facilities such as retirement homes and recreational or educational centers. These centers provide older people with opportunities to spend their free time doing various activities. Most recreational centers have fitness clubs, yoga centers, parks, spiritual sessions, picnics, food taste for their health and entertainment of senior citizens. These activities help to spiritually uplift seniors and can contribute to overall health improvements and mental stability. Recommendations of the WHO. WHO recommended the promotion and a healthy lifestyle of aged across the life course. They suggested to create age-friendly environments and policies to engage older men and women, make primary health care age-friendly, and ensure access to health care and rehabilitation services for older people. We should adapt physical environments to existing disabilities. And lifestyle choices for the active aging program should start early in life and include participating in family and community life, eating a balanced, healthy diet, maintaining adequate physical activity, avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol consumption. Conclusion. The aging pose a serious human problem nowadays. The elderly raise moral questions and direct our attention towards transcendental value. Since they are considered as non-productive, so they also do not generate any hope for the people. In the past, aging was not a serious issue and societies did not give it priority. They dealt with it as a natural phenomenon. Family members were responsible for the care and management of the old. But now, the situation is different. The size of the people in aging category is already bulging and is growing very fast. The problems posed by the aging are by no means accidental and isolated. The entire emphasis of the development is on individual success, career promotion, entrepreneurship, investment, capital building, and profit. In such a scheme of things, there is hardly any scope for thoughts about human development. At family, community, and government levels, the problems of the aging get no or very low priority. It is taken for granted that the problem will be solved on its own, or that it is a problem of individual families with communities and government have nothing to do with it. The family, where the aging are supposed to get care and comfort, is on the rocks and in any case shrinking. The members of the family are spread around in the pursuit of their careers. With this, we come to the end of today's lecture. In the next session, we shall talk about another related topic. Thank you very much.